Formation and objectives of political parties. Political parties came into being, or political parties operated in formation of, or as we can say that multiple factors operate in formation of political parties. For example, religious thinking, factional and sectarian beliefs, and fraternal feelings inspired by ethnic ties, or adherence to a peculiar socio-economic or socio-political belief. All these factors are responsible for making or for the formation of a political party, and different political parties set their objectives on multiple factors. There is not a single factor which is responsible for the formation of political party, or there is not a single objective of any political party. Rather, there are multiple factors which are responsible for formation of political parties, and there are multiple objectives of political parties. Political parties is, or political politics is characterized by such instinctive feelings like love, affection, jealousy, or a sense of competition, or such things, right? Usually the party politics is characterized by different instinctive feelings. And in past, if you will see, the political parties usually the political parties were organized in ethnic basis. And in Europe, during the period of Renaissance period in Europe, the European society was generally divided on religious differences, and we can see the color of religious difference in different political parties and the party politics. We can see the color of religious difference during the period of Renaissance in Europe. And then in Britain, if you will see, there was a tussle between king and parliament, and this was fully reflected in party politics. Different political parties came into being on the basis of this tussle between the parliament and the king. And in America, if you will see, in past, since past, there was a conflict on different national issues like federalism and then slavery. So different political parties came into being on the basis of this conflict on different national issues. So at the beginning, if you remind that different scholars and different political leaders were not in favor of making political parties. For example, Rousseau was not in favor of political parties. He said that, he was saying that the political parties create hurdles in location of journal will. So he discouraged political parties. And the George Washington was also not in favor of political parties. But political parties came into being with the passage of time because of multiple factors, because of people's association with different religious beliefs, with different sectarian beliefs, and their adherence to different ethnic ties, and because of different national issues and on conflicts, especially conflict on different national issues. So political parties came into being, and now the political parties are integral part of democratic system. Now we cannot even imagine the democratic system without the existence of political parties. And these political parties came into being, or the formation of political parties is dependent on multiple factors, and the political parties have multiple objectives. It's not so simple that a political party came into being just because of a single reason, or a political party might have a single objective. Rather, they have multiple objectives, and they have multiple reasons for the formation of political parties. Usually the formation and objective coincide with each other, because political parties, the reasons for which a political party came into being is usually their objective. For example, if a political party came into being because of a religious belief, or because they support certain religious beliefs, then that party will set its objective for the implement of that religious belief. So the formation and objective are coinciding with each other, and they are multiple. They are not single, and they are not so simple. So let's see some reasons, or some reasons of formation and objectives of political parties. If we will summarize the different reasons or different objectives of political parties in as under certain headings, in order to so we could have some sort of academic understanding of the formation and objectives of political parties, they came under four different headings: economic motives, religion, ideological division, and contemporary conditions. First, let's see the economic motives. Usually, political parties came into being on different economic beliefs. For example, the British Labour Party came into being because of their socialist beliefs. They were supporting labor class, lower class. So this party came into being on the basis of a economic motive. Similarly, the Conservative Party in Britain came into being on the basis of an economic motive. They were the opposite of Labour. The Labour Party Labour Party was in favor of a lower class, as to support lower class against the capitalist class. On the other hand, the Conservative Party was in favor of laissez-faire economy, no government intervention in economy. And with the passage of time, their motives and their objectives changed also. For example, the Conservative Party, which was initially in favor of laissez-faire economy, now the Conservative Party don't favor laissez-faire economy. They changed their stance and their objectives with the passage of time. Similarly, if you will see in the history, in Indian history, Indian National Congress came into being in 1885 for getting independence from British. Rather, at the beginning, when the party was made, this was also not the objective, but later on their objective was to gain independence from British. But now they set their objectives on some different grounds. Similarly, Muslim League came into being. When Muslim League came into being, their objective was to gain independence from British and to divide India. Now they set their objective on contemporary conditions, on different conditions that we will discuss later on as well. So with the passage of time, their motives also change. Similarly, the motive of Conservative Party in UK also changed with the passage of time. And the other factor is the impact of religion. Religion also impact on formation of political parties, and religion is the objective of political parties, or in on number of occasions. Usually, in third world countries and in Muslim countries, different political parties came into being on the basis of religion. For example, in Pakistan, Jamaat-e-Islami, Jamiyat-e-Ulama-e-Islam, and there are a number of other religious parties which came into being because of their adherence to certain religious beliefs, and obviously their objective is to implement that particular religious belief. And in India as well, there are a number of political parties like Jamiyat-e-Ulama-e-Islam Hind is a political party in India which came into being on religious grounds. Similarly, Hindu Mahasabha came into being on religious grounds. And if you will go some further beyond, in the Middle East, Ikhwanul Muslimin is a political party that came into being on religious grounds, and Mashomi Party of Indonesia, and in Turkey, if you will see, National Salvation Party and Justice and Development Party of Tayyip Erdogan, these parties came into being on religious grounds. Similarly, Islamic Front of Algeria is on another political party which came into being on religious grounds. So there are a number of political parties which came into being on religious ground. So we can say now that religion is a factor responsible for the formation of political parties, and the religion impact the objectives of political parties as well. And the next factor, I think, is the ideological division. Different parties came into being on ideological division as well. For example, I took an example just now that the Indian National Congress and All India Muslim League came into being because of some ideological division. Congress was supporting the unity of India while Muslim League was supporting the division of India. These two different political parties came into being because of the ideological division. And in recent, if we will see in recent past, in past few decades, we can see socialist political parties that came into being because of ideological division. That's they don't believe in laissez-faire economy and they don't believe in market economy. They want government intervention in economy. So because of that ideological difference, that ideological division, those political parties came into being. And in socialist countries, usually these political parties are line on communist lines, and they are communist parties. For example, the Communist Party of China. And in socialist countries, they are more dominating. They impose some, we can say they impose some sort of party dictatorship, and they introduce single party system and make some party dictatorship, for example in China. While in Western liberal democracies, socialist parties are also existing there, but they use democratic and constitutional means to gain socialist objectives. Anyhow, and the political parties came into being because of ideological division, and their objective is to implement that ideology. That may be a religious ideology, or that may be an economic ideology, or any other socio political factor. And last but not least, the contemporary, I'm sorry guys, the contemporary conditions, they are also responsible for formation of a political party. And different political parties set their objectives on contemporary conditions. Certain political parties simply draw up objectives at the time of elections. They don't have a permanent objective. They set their objective according to the time. With the passage of time, their objective change. Usually, for all political parties, now the objective change with passage of time. But certain political parties set their objective at the time, right? For example, Nazi party, fascist party, they came to being on the basis of racial discrimination, but they set their objective at certain time. I'm sorry guys. So we can say that the contemporary conditions also set the objectives of political parties, right? If you will recap that, there are four major reasons, or the four reasons for making a political party, or there are four main objectives of a political party. They are economic motives, impact of religion, ideological division, and contemporary conditions. So these are the factors which are responsible for formation of a political party, and these are the major objectives of political party. Remember guys, these are just major objectives of a political party. There can be more objectives as well. Thank you for joining. Take care. Goodbye.